Greetings, viewers. Greetings. How are you this week? This is Brian J.T. Watts here with another episode of Come Together. Today, we're going to be talking to a special young man, Mr. Daeron, and he's going to be breaking it down to us. That's Daeron Myers. He's going to tell us all about his show, the Top Discussion, and we're going to talk about some issues in our community concerning our Black man, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself and some things he went through that might be very helpful to you. So stay tuned. We'll see you after the intro.
This is the greatest game of telephone that has ever been played. Someone said the Black man doesn't raise his kids or care for his family, and that message is still being told to everyone today. They even have us saying,
We are not a monolith. We have various opinions and thoughts. We are much more than what we are portrayed to be by the media.
even when we are the victims of injustice, we are still portrayed as the perpetrators. When it comes to the Black man, there is an intentional plan to discredit the past, arrest the present, and destroy the future.
Something must be done, but nothing will work until we come together. Hey viewers, Brian Watts here again. I am talking to a special guest today, Daeron Myers. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. How you doing, cuz?
Hey, listen, I'm awake. I'm up. I'm trying to do it for real. So, every day now at this age, I'm just trying to push it, make sure I'm keep doing
Yes,
it.
sir.
It's got to be intentional now. Definitely got to be intentional. So tell my viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Daeron Myers. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I own a delivery service. But that's all good and dandy, but that doesn't matter. Who I am as a person, I'm a person that's relentless, and I'm a empowering type of person and impactful type of person. One of the things that I realized that I had the ability to impact people around me. So how do I take that to the next level? So right now I'm actually in the process of building a community. It's called the Top Discussion. Literally, whatever comes to the top of the mind, we like to discuss every single week. But other than that, I'm a son, brother, father, soon to be husband.
Wow. Okay. All right. So tell me a little bit more about Top Discussion. I looked at the video. I saw that you're having some really intense things. I'm on the Facebook page, so I saw some of the topics, the things that people are coming on and talking about. But what inspired you to say, listen, I want to do this Top Discussion for what reason? Break that down for our people.
All right. So yeah, the Top Discussion, for one, it's a community. That's the first thing that I wanted to build. I wanted to build a community that was powerful because, as we grew up, I wasn't in that type of community. My family wasn't in that type of environment. We didn't have the resources or knowledge to really execute and live out our goals and live through our purpose and our passion. I've seen so many people with so many great things, but they never was passionate about it, or they didn't have the resources to elevate it.
Right.
So the Top Discussion was based off a community of high-level entrepreneurs, and we just sit down and have a conversation. So through somebody's journey, it might spark somebody to say, you know what, I'm not living up to my potential. I'm not living up to my purpose. Like I'm just on robot mode every single day. I wake up, I do the same things, and life is just passing me. So I want that community. We built that to be empowering and impactful to those who are not living up to their full potential. Because every single day, especially in our community as Black folks, we're not doing it, and we're hoping and not deciding.
Right.
And I need people to start deciding that my life is going to look like this. My relationship is going to look like this. You can decide your life and stop hoping, right? A lot of things, the best thing that I've ever heard was we was taught, right? We were born to do anything, right? We were born, hey, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be this.
Right.
But we was taught to not believe in ourselves, to not be risky, to not no, this is that community. We need to let it out. And we need to be, you know what I mean? If I don't have the belief myself, I need to be able to go to my sister, my brother, and borrow that belief to get to that next level. And that's what the Top Discussion is about.
Well, that's great. I see a lot of things that can happen in the community. Since everybody knows I'm a high school teacher, and in my classroom, the thing I like to happen when I'm teaching a math concept or something that they might not understand yet, when they try and everybody says what they think or what they might remember, even though they don't have the concept together, it sparks something in somebody else. So when you say this thing, the other person goes, hey, wait, what about this? And then it bounces around the class, and sooner or later they have the whole concept.
Yep.
And that's something that I see is going to happen in your community, where people don't realize that there's been a lot of us at times that might have been sitting together that all have pieces of a dream, and we have the complete dream in the room. But since nobody's talking, nobody's getting together, nobody's saying nothing, everybody just walks back out with their little pieces, and nobody achieves anything. And so this is going to be something where, as long as people are talking and being honest and, being even a little vulnerable about what I don't have, I like this part and I want to do this, but I don't have this right here. Does somebody in here have this? Oh yeah. It's not a thing for everybody to have to be best friends or buds, but it's like, listen, if you do this well and this is what I need, hey, let's talk about it. Or let me hear from your experiences so I don't have to go through the same mistake you made. And I can do it
speed
myself.
up the process.
Faster. So yeah, I feel you, man. That sounds great. Now tell me, how old are you right now?
I'm 30. Yep, I'm 30 years old. Yep.
So I'm gonna say this. There are people now. I'm older than you, but I'm not. But there are people in my age group and over who don't think anybody in your age group has this type of vision or this type of desire for this type of relationship and this type of interaction. They feel like everybody down in that age group is about themselves and they just want to do their own thing. Where did you get this from? What did it come from? What spawns this desire for you to say, hey, you know what? Let's pull everybody together so we can move forward.
So what inspired, like, you absolutely right, because I was, we are selfish. I was selfish. Everything I had, I was keeping it to myself.
Okay.
But I realized I was doing people a disservice. It wasn't like, at first I wanted to be impressive, but now I as you get older, you get wiser. It's something I need to be impactful, and you have the ability to do it. Right. I don't know everything, but I figured out the system, like, to the point where, I use this person for this person for this, and now it elevated me. This can help somebody else out because people are stuck, right? So when I say, like, I don't care how old you are, if you have a vision, go after it because somebody needs it. Right. I don't cater to the people who don't need it. Okay, you're fine with your situation, great. But at the end of the day, like, I see it so much like, we're gonna do so much more together than apart. Everybody want to be self-made, but the real definition of self-made is not really self-made. Nobody made it by themselves. They have a team. They have a community behind them. So the rapper Rick Ross himself made this. No, he had a videographer, he had a manager, he had all these moving pieces. And if we move together, we can accomplish so much great things. So that's where the vision came. Like, I'm not living for my first name, I'm living for my last name. Okay. So when I want to leave this earth, it's like, what did Daeron leave behind? I don't care what I did. Right? Who was he? Who did he impact? Right? I'm writing my obituary now. Because at the end of the day, your death date is promised. So I might as well write it now. Like, I don't want to be like, well, he was just one of those guys. No.
Right. I don't want people searching for something to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that pastor to get up and say the stuff that he had to say about everybody because the general message. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to be good. Even though I'm probably not going to be there to stand up and say nothing about it, I want it to be good. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be personable. I want you to say, oh, Brian, yeah, I knew him. He did this, and this. So I feel you. That's good. I mean, I think it's a good message for people in your age group and below. Like I said, I see students every day that don't have a vision of what it even means to be in a community. And that's what this show is about. This show is here because there are rumors and falsehoods about Black males that are becoming pervasive. And I mean, it's so bad that our community is saying this stuff to ourselves. And we're teaching it to our own people. So I looked at my family on both sides of my family. And I keep hearing this rumor, and I sort of bring it up from show to show that Black men don't raise their kids, or they're not at home with their kids, or this, that, and the other. And I started to look at both sides of my family. And I realized I knew a lot of people's dads. And I was like, wait, how is this rumor true? There were some people who, yeah, maybe I didn't know their dad, but I heard them talk about him, so I knew he was around. And then there were some people whose fathers weren't around for whatever reason. Maybe their father died, or maybe their parents weren't together, whatever it was. But it wasn't a big group of them. It was a small group. I started thinking about all my friends that I grew up, that I went to church with when I was little. So most of the dads were in the church with us, and some of them weren't, like mine. But he came to pick us up, so people know, oh, that's Brian's dad. Oh, that's so and so's dad. That's so and so's dad. And even my friends at school, if I saw their parents, I knew a bunch of dads. So I'm like, where is this rumor coming from? And I grew up in the projects in the South Bronx, where you would think if the rumor's true anywhere, that's where it's true.
Right.
And so it's crazy that we're seeing these things aren't true, but somehow, because it's being said from the top and fed into our community, we're still pushing it. Oh, yeah, there's more black men in jail than in college. No, there's not. And the studies have shown it. It's there in the books for us. So what you're doing right now, I think, is putting people in a space where not only can they see what they need and get what they need, but they can start being exposed to the truth, because it's weird that even there are principles, and I'm not trying to push all Christian principles. I'm really open to principles from everywhere.
Right.
But the truth can really set you free. I
mean, people
don't understand that they don't know what's going on. So we're getting locked down. Our community is getting locked down. These young guys are saying, oh, well, if black guys don't take care of their family, I'm black, then I can have as many kids as I want, and I don't have to take care of them. I can go do my thing. And the second crazy part is all of the guys that I know whose fathers I didn't see are great fathers now. And I'm like, wait a minute. Somehow they got it in their head that, well, that wasn't there for me, but I'm going to do that for mine. Right. And so I see our community doing better as far as some of those things are concerned. But we do need little things like, well, I don't want to say little things because now they made little sound bad, but we need to do things that promote and that celebrate. And I want to know, I see your site. I haven't seen the IG stuff. How does that work? How does the top discussion work? I see the Facebook page and the group, and all of us are on there vibing, and people are putting on videos and talking about other things. But how does the thing go on IG?
So IG is just like the promoting platform.
Okay.
Right. But every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a live discussion.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we have a live discussion. It's my cousin Davon, and then we bring on, special guests.
Okay.
To come in there and give their perspective, to come in there and give their inspiring, to come in there to give their journey, because everybody might not connect with me.
Right.
I can say it, right? But it might not connect. Brian can say it, and it might connect with him, just the way he delivers it, right?
Right.
So that's what we want. That's what we do. Every single Thursday, we go live. We talk, whatever's at the top of the mind, we talking about. It's a lot of business stuff because, at this age bracket, when you start to turn 30, you really trying to figure out, what do I want to do to create some type of financial freedom? Or I'm at a level like, yo, I need something. Like I'm struggling out here.
No doubt. Well, if you're doing that at 30, I'm gonna tell you you're lucky, because a lot of people are waiting until they are way older, because a lot of things have changed now. It seemed like 20 years ago, things would just come by happenstance. Now, nothing is coming to you unless you're going out there to get it. It's just not going to happen. I mean, the pandemic has showed everybody that there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that you can have, but you got to go get it.
Absolutely.
And it's not going to work the way it used to work. Nothing is going back to the way it was pre-pandemic. I mean, there's so many industries that will not be the same. Even something like making a movie now. You can make a movie and you're waiting for it to come out. It might not be big on the screen. It might be streaming on Disney Plus. And you're like, oh, I'm missing a whole bunch of money I could have got from ticket sales. Right. There's a whole lot of stuff that the game has just changed. And because of our technology, the game is changing like every day. So that means that our community definitely needs to step up and stop lagging behind, because, with things changing, we're not in charge of the change, not all the time. If we can get to that point, then yeah, maybe we can start to dictate what exactly is going to happen. But, at this point, we definitely need to be definitely cognizant of what's going on. And I think that top discussion would be good, because if you're doing it weekly, that means that there's a lot of discussions happening. That means there's a lot that can be heard, a lot that people can get into. And I mean, I think it's just a good thing. So I'm gonna try to check that out. I definitely was loving the vibe on the page. I was on there and I was like, wait, this isn't even it. This is just the Facebook page. So that was that had people talking already. So I was like, okay, this is pretty good. That's good. I'm definitely pleased to see somebody at your age doing that. And like you said, you're soon to be a husband. So I think that if you're thinking in this vein now, then this is a good time for you to do that. Because when you get rid of your own selfishness and ready to share, that's the time to do that. So and that's from your mouth. That's not from mine. So I think that's positive. That's for real. That's good because that's the reason why a lot of people have to do it over and over and over again because they're not ready to share. And so if you're like, no, it's not all about me. It's about my community, my family, this and the other, then this is a great time. So as I told you, we're here to sort of promote positivity with Black males. I know that you've come up. Did you play any sports and stuff, high school, all of that stuff? Did you do any of that?
Oh yeah, I played football my life. Yeah,
that's what I thought. So I talked to some of my friends a couple of weeks ago about football. We were talking about basketball and things like that. What was your impression of the way that we were sort of represented in sports? And what was the reason why that wasn't something that you just continued to go after as far as your lifestyle?
Well, we was represented as entertainment. Right. And for me personally, I didn't go as my lifestyle because I didn't know what putting the work in me. I was blessed with a God-given talent, but it topped out when everybody else was working hard and I'm just showing up every day thinking that the gap started to expand. Right. But at the end of the day, we're entertaining. For me, going to high school and then getting into a private Catholic high school based off of athletic talents. It was pure entertainment. It was pure, this guy has something that, people like. They're going to come, they're going to buy tickets, that they're going to do this. And then going to college is the same thing. So it's like when you look at it as a Black man, I was pure entertainment, right? They didn't care, like broken wrist. They didn't care about me then. I wasn't on the field performing. Right. So you start to sit back like, hold up. These people love me if I'm scoring touchdowns. Right. But as soon as I get hurt, it's like, next up.
So basically, you're saying the same thing I say to people all the time. A person who gets hurt in high school is lucky to learn right then. Absolutely. Because if you don't get hurt, then you continue to go, and you might not find out that this might not be the life that you think it is until you get up there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And for you to get hurt and see, okay, if I'm not producing, I'm not part of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a valued thing. And that's big. I think a lot of people have seen that the things that they enjoy about Black people right now still is the entertainment, the singing, the dancing, the sports, the comedy. And I think that when people see us making a lot of money and people see people like the Dave Chappelles and the Kevin Harts and the singers and all them, they're like, oh, okay, things are changing for us. The world is getting better. Racism is going away. No, it's always been a thing of us being entertainers.
Absolutely.
It's just that now they have to pay for it. But everybody who's getting paid to do these things, even though they're getting paid millions of dollars, there's somebody behind them making billions because they're doing it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if we're getting into business now. People like Kevin Hart made sure that he made businesses from all the things that he got into. And that's absolutely. He's putting it in a way that so even when he can't do it anymore, it can continue. Yes, there are a few of us doing that, but it's not a lot of us that are getting these chances. And even these chances are just chances for us to entertain. So where's the chances for us to educate or to motivate or to do all of the things that we want to do that would help our community so that we're not just entertainers? So I think you definitely got a good point there. It seems to be rough that Black men are just, I don't know. It feels like we're just there to show strength, brawn. How were you pushed in school as a football player? Were you worried about, were people worried about your classes? or your behavior or your this, that, and other? How did that happen? Because I've seen my own examples from the students that I've taught, but I wanted to hear it from somebody who was actually playing.
Who played? Like, what was my experience in school?
Yeah, as far as how people treated you for your behavior, as your classes, all of that stuff, how did that go?
So now looking back on it, they did me a disservice because being the star football player at your high school, it's like, yo, I can do anything. You don't gotta go to class. Go lift weights. I'm gonna give you a C. Literally, I'm gonna give you a B. Just you don't have to be here, right? Wow. And as I look back at it, I was getting a pass,
right,
for failure.
Wow.
Right? Like, no, make it hard for me now. That way it's easy for me later. Because if you make it easy for me now, it's gonna be harder for me later.
Exactly.
Because I didn't learn.
Wow.
So they basically put like, oh, as long as you keep producing, you teachers coming to the game, they loving what you're doing, right. But they're doing me a disservice. So my high school experience was an easy breeze. You know, the chicks, oh man, he's going to the NFL. They want like,
right.
Nah. You know, and people like, yo, like I got good dudes who made it that play in the NFL right now. They like, yo, you should be here. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't, because I probably wouldn't be the person that I am today. Right. I would rather be the person that I am today than be a famous person or making all this money. No, I'm more impactful. And if I made it to the NFL, I'd probably be selfish. And then I probably wouldn't learn the things that I needed to learn to be sufficient through the rest of my life. How many people, 80% of us go broke? Why?
Yeah.
Because we got the easy pass. And then when life gets hard, we don't know how to adjust.
Well, I mean, the thing is, what people are not looking at, I think a lot of us are uneducated on the whole industry, the entertainment industry at all.
Right.
When somebody makes a couple of $1 million and we're like, whoa, he's making $5 million. Okay, well, there's tax, which is big on $5 million. That can be from 25 to 40% possibly.
Absolutely.
You got agents and managers, and then if you're from our community, you got your family who's like, put us on.
That's what's called the black tax.
Right, exactly.
If somebody make it, everybody needs a piece of that.
Exactly. And listen, I mean, families are like that, and it's real. You know, everybody want to buy a house for their mama. You know, so you know, it's even if you don't have a whole bunch of family, if you got any, you're going to do something, and that money goes quickly. And then if you look at all the money you spend right when you first start, you end up with less than a regular salary of a person who's out here working, you know, and now you're trying to play hard for that. And you can't be safe in football. You can't play like, I don't want to get hurt, because then you're not good.
Oh, absolutely.
But you can't go crazy, because then when you get hurt, you're not good. So, I mean, it's a lot. And I wanted to hear about your experience, because as a teacher, I see that a lot. You know, I have students who would come to my class and do nothing. And I'm like, hey, man, you going to do some work today? Nah. And I'm like, aren't you on the football team or the basketball team? And yeah, you know, you need to pass this class. And they're looking at me like, okay, I'm good. But I'm like, no, you're not. And I'm not going to pass you. Like, I'm
right.
I'm not doing that, dude. I mean, it's not going to happen. They're going to have to come in here and say, Mr. Watts, we need, and I've had principals or coaches come and talk to me, but they don't come now with the same vibe they did. It's not the same as it was probably when you were at high school, where they're like, hey, I need you to pass Daeron because he's the suffer. It's not like that. It's like, hey, what can we do to get him? And I'm like, he need to do this work. So you need to get him a tutor, or you need to get him something. And, you know, so I feel like it's my responsibility to make these guys do something, because like you said, and I'll summarize it. If you play now, you're going to have to work later. If you work now, then you can play for later. But if you play now, you're going to work forever. And you got to catch up. So tell me this then. With you going through all of that in high school, what changed that made you who you are now? Because obviously there are people who went through what you went through who now have no real contribution as far as education or motivation or anything like that. So most people, if they were reading your story, would say, if this guy didn't do anything in high school, he probably not doing nothing.
Right.
Afterwards. What made you become somebody different and say, you know what, let me get myself together and educate myself, or find some type of resource of education so that I can be somebody?
Well, life hits you. Like that's one thing about life. It's gonna smack you.
No doubt.
And when you realize that it smack you, you like, yo, how do I? It's not what I'm doing right now isn't working.
Right.
Like that's the thing. What I'm doing now isn't working. I have to try something different.
Okay.
Right. So what I try, what and myself, I was like, yo, I got to work harder. I got to start communicating better. I got to learn. Right. What is the successful people doing? And I started to study them, and they would, through a different message, they would say the same thing.
Right.
You got to show up no matter what.
Right.
You got to put the work in. You can't skip steps.
Right.
There's no instant gratification. Somebody's overnight success might have took 15 years.
That's right.
But a lot of so what I would do is I would start something and I wouldn't finish it because I didn't see anything growing from it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, one guy told me, he said, yo, think about you growing a tree.
Okay.
You plant your seed, you plant your dirt. What do? Just water it every single day.
Right.
Don't look at it. Just keep watering it. Keep watering it. Don't look at it. Don't worry about it. And then next thing you know, you got a whole tree. But a lot of people want the big steps. And that was me. I wanted the big automatically, the overnight.
Right.
What I started to look at is small steps. And then they started to grow big. And I was like, oh snap, I got something here. I know exactly how to operate. Right. Yo, all them small wins. Now I got a big win. Right. I'm going to carry that in everyday life. Right. Like I'm going to carry that everyday life. But it's funny that you say teach it. Yes, my coach used to go in. I literally see him bark on a teacher like, yo, you got to pass him. Wow. I like the health teacher. Like back then, I didn't wear glasses. My physical, I failed. She was like, yo, you can't see. You don't got no glasses. Like I literally see him go off like, yo, you're going to have to pass him in his physical. And I'm like, wow. Sheesh.
Right. Wow.
But after
that's crazy though. That's crazy.
You're right.
I can't even imagine. I can't imagine being on that side of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As a student, you might actually be saying, "Nah, don't do that, coach." You know, in your mind, but the coach is like, "Nah, this is what we need." And so it starts to make you feel like, okay, then that's what we do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it gives you a certain arrogance because I'm gonna tell you, the students now are looking at me like, "Mr. Watts, for real, you don't know what's going on," and I'm like, "Oh, for real, that's hilarious because I know exactly what's going on.
Right?
You don't know what's going on because I know a guy right now, two guys who were supposed to go to the NFL.
In your school?
No, not in my school, but I went to grad school with these guys. Right?
Okay.
And so when they were in undergrad, they were supposed to go to the NFL because they were huge. They were bad. They were playing in college, so it was like, okay, we know they're going.
Right.
There was girls that got with them, and one of them had like 3 or 4 kids because these girls were like, yo, I'm gonna get a kid from this dude. He going to the NFL.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we gonna be paid. We good.
We good.
Like, oh wow. And I mean, I'm seeing the story afterwards. And for whatever reason, they didn't make it. Now what you doing? You didn't do everything in school, so now you got to sort of catch up. You got to learn how to study. You got to learn how to this. You got to learn how to that, and you have people to take care of that are dependent on you. You know what I'm saying? And there's no job like going to what people think going to the NFL is like. You're not going to work at Kroger and make that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to do all that stuff. And so now you're a teacher or you're whatever, but you have to try to get better degrees to get more money. And it's so much that you have to catch up on. And I think this is what sort of keeps a lot of Black men in a sort of cycle of being able to be talked about any way people want, because so many of us are working so hard now to make up for that we can't do anything else. So you can't be a person who thinks the way you thought and made this community you make. I don't have time for my dreams now. I don't have time to create. I got to work overtime to take care of my kids and this and the other. And those are the things that are holding us back more than anything else. The fact that now it's like, oh, well, all I am now is this work machine. And I got to just put my head down to the grindstone and just work constantly overtime. I'm barely getting sleep. I'm not healthy. I'm not this and the other. So our community can't grow because everybody in our community is important. And if you snatch the man out, I mean, that's it. We're done. Mm-hmm. So you have a little one, right?
Absolutely.
And what are you thinking now at this point? because I mean, I've seen little videos. This dude looks like he's going to be just highly intelligent. I see the little things. I've seen him in person.
Right.
Okay? So I'm saying, give me top 3 things that you think in order to keep my son in this world, because we don't know how it's going to be in a few years, but in how the world is now, what are the top 3 things that you want to teach this guy so that he can persevere and get through all of the stuff that's being thrown at him?
So as a young black man, the 3 things that I am going to, like, we're not trying, right? We going. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to teach my son, for one, show up every single day.
Okay.
Show up. Don't decide that I'm going to be great, right? This is what you wanted to do. Number 2, in this world, that you got to do is network. Don't think you're going to get anywhere by yourself. Right. Learn how to network effectively and efficiently. These are things that I was not taught.
Right.
And I'm telling you, people think it's a cliche thing. Oh man, like, networking will put you in rooms that degrees won't. I guarantee you that.
No doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
And number 3, respect everybody around you, man. Like, respect can get you a long way. You have to, like, in life, you have to give something in order to receive. It's just the way it works.
Right.
Don't be, because people don't like takers. Don't go in a room and just think I'm supposed to get. No, give somebody something. And, right. And don't worry about chase. And I'm gonna add another one for y'all. Because this card show, I'm about to go in a little bit. Come on. Yo, don't chase the money, chase the value. Make yourself more valuable.
Right.
The money is going to run from you. In our community, what we do, we chase the money. Oh, I'm grinding 16 hours a day. Bro, you're not doing anything but burning yourself out. You're going to sleep more tired. You're waking up more tired. And something is suffering. And that probably is going to be your son, your family. Like, yo, you missing basketball games. You missing events. Right. Yo, it's not about the money. Make yourself more valuable, and the money is the outcome.
Well, listen, that's good stuff. I'm telling you, you're not going to tell me. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. Education comes from all kind of venues.
Talk to me.
So you're telling me that you were in high school and you got out because of your coach.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you don't have a standard high school education.
I don't know.
Yet you are in a position to motivate people and to get the thing you didn't have and to go beyond. So what I'm trying to explain to people, not that these things aren't important, high school, elementary, all that stuff is important, but there are other things for you to get. Learning is supposed to occur constantly and consistently. Like us teachers, we say we're lifelong learners, and everybody should actually be a lifelong learner. I shouldn't have to go through a bunch of stuff, especially even you. You're 20 some years my junior, okay? But that doesn't mean I can't learn from you. And that, to me, is where that respect comes. It's like, okay, I'm not going to look at you and say, well, you're a young cat. You don't know what you're talking about, unless you're doing what I did. Please, the world has changed. There are kids now. I saw a kid, I don't know how old this kid was. He looked like he was between 1 and 3, maybe. Well, no, the parent was still holding him, so he couldn't even have been 3. He was sitting in church. He dug into his father's pocket, pulled out his phone, and opened it, and was playing on it. And I'm sitting behind him like, well, what kind of kid is this? And I said to somebody, and they was like, what? That's what kids do. They were born with that. And I was like, all right. I'm looking at it as me, because by the time I grabbed the phone, I wouldn't even know what to do. But yeah, I wasn't born in a time where this was common, passcodes and this, that, and the other. So there's things that you can learn on every level. And there's another thing you said. It's definitely a thing of networking and being in the room. And people don't get that. I don't think a lot of people get
at
that.
All.
You can't know all the little cliches they used to say, and I'm not a fan of cliches, but all the little sayings like "no man is an island." That's true.
Right.
Okay. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. That's not. Okay. That's actually physically impossible. And like you said, there's nobody. I don't care who you are. Somebody did something to help you get there. You just got to look back at the story and figure out who it was if you don't know. But you should know. The teacher that taught you how to do this or do that, the person who lent you some money, or your parents, somebody put you on. And there's no way that you can just say, nah, it was me from the beginning. I mean, the arrogance that comes from that is insane.
Right.
And even though all of us aren't arrogant people, we all have arrogant times. I had a point where I was like, I went to grad school and it seemed easy for me. And there was a lot of people in my grad school classes, so I was like, what are they doing?
Right.
That's not right. They're doing reports. They didn't sound right. They were saying stuff. And I said to my teacher, who at the time, the professor, one of my professors, he worked at the high school that I worked at. So I said, what's going on, man? This doesn't seem right. And he said, hey, Mr. Watts, be respectful of the people in your class, whether you think they're good or not. And I said, why? He said, because you're going to end up working for them. And I was like, okay, some of these people are ahead of you in the program. I was trying to become an administrator. So some of them are going to be administrators, and they're going to end up at your school, and you're going to be the teacher behind them. You can't play them here in class.
Right.
Then be like, hey, put me on. They're like, nah, you the dude that was playing. Right. You're going to pass people. People are going to pass you. Things are going to happen. These relationships are important. And if we can't relate to each other, then, I mean, that's a problem. And that's another thing that I see being an issue where, and I want to know from you about this. What do you feel is some of the things that hold us back as far as relationships? Because I don't see a lot of guys sitting down kicking it like I used to see back in the day. When I was a little kid, I remember my dad having a couple of guys come over to the house, and they used to have the little wine, and they would sit down and just kick it like on Sunday morning or whatever. And I would come out and they would all be like, "Hey, what's up, little man?" And something. I'm like, "Yo, I just wanted to be there," because it was like relationship time. I don't see that a lot no more. What are some of the other things that you see are keeping us out that we have forgotten from our past and that we don't get into now?
Oh man, like you said it, like it's the phone. Like the great thing about it is our relationships in a way that you don't have to be in a room, right?
Right.
But a lot of people are afraid to turn their camera on and talk to somebody. Why? Oh, I'm afraid somebody's gonna think I look like this or this. Bro, just have a conversation. Like, have a conversation. Open your mind. And the greatest thing about your mind is once you expose, it will never go back to its original form. But what you say about networking, we're programmed, right? Think about it. When I was growing up, some of my uncles are like, don't talk to them white people.
Right.
Why? Like, I got white business partners now that done so much more for me in my life, and I can call them, and it's like, I got it.
Right.
But I was programmed, don't talk to them white people.
Right.
For what? So when we grow up in our communities, we programmed to be this way.
Right.
But it's a failure-based system. We're literally trying to build a foundation off of failure.
Wow.
You're looking at your parents.
I know that, but you said it in a way that was like, man, that's actually true. Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah. You look at your parents' life, and then you look at what they accomplished, and you be like, yo, what does my life look like?
Right.
Some people, we don't want our lives to look like our parents. We want it to be better. We want to do different things. So you cannot take all their beliefs. I know that's your mother. You love them to death, right? You love your grandmother to death, but yo, we're getting taught the wrong things.
Right.
And what happened in that generation doesn't work in our generation. You're from a different generation. You said it. Times change.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you got to change with the times, or you're gonna get left behind.
That's true. That's true. There are core things that may stay the same.
Right.
There are little things and ways that you have to do things. I mean, that's why when I talk to kids in class now, I'm not telling them, hey, you have to have an A in all of these classes in order for you to get over or for you to make it where you need to be, this and other. No, but I'm saying you do need to be exposed. So while you're sitting in a room, learn all the stuff you can learn. Why would you sit here every day in my class in Algebra 2 and learn nothing?
Right.
When you still have to be here. You're just wasting time. That's not even good sense, because time is money, everything. You're just sitting here letting stuff go by you. And if you do that, you're teaching your mind to do that. So now your other classes, you won't be paying attention as much either. You're going to learn to not pay attention. So that's true. There's certain core things that are going to stay the same, but now how you use these things, hey, some of these kids might say, I'm not going to use this math. Okay, that's fine. A lot of kids, hey, Mr. Watts, when am I ever going to use this in life? And my answer is, well, if you don't learn it, you can't use it. You won't know how. So what's the point? Get a life and then see what you do with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't even have one yet. So chill out, just wait, So it's a lot. And I mean, you definitely are dropping some good stuff here. I think that relationships are big. I think that we need to spend time doing like what we're doing right now, vibing on shows like this, your program that you're doing, the shows you're going to put out where y'all are talking about top discussions and really getting into things, because I'm sure the questions are unfiltered. So they're going to come, and y'all are just going to have to tell people what's up. And that's the big thing. I think for us in our generation, we had a lot of people teaching us who refused to tell us everything. They would tell us the little pieces they wanted us to know and hold back the rest for themselves. And we're like, okay, I did everything you said, and it still ain't working. So what's up? And now I think people are realizing, no, you have to be 100%, or else you're just as well as canceled. And if you're not putting it out there the way it needs to be, what are you here for? What's the use? So I'm really confident that the things you said you're going to teach your son is going to be great. The things that you're going to put in his mind. The one thing I tell people all the time is, as long as I know a lot of parents want to give their kids what they didn't have, but as long as you also give them the good stuff you did have, then they'll be good, because then they got a combination now. They have all the stuff that made you who you were, plus the stuff that you didn't have. Hey, here comes some good success. So listen, I'm really proud of you, man. You sound like you really got some stuff going on. Sounds like you're going to be successful. I want you to tell everybody where they can check out Top Discussion, and so they can get on and be a part of these discussions.
Absolutely. We welcome anybody that wants to grow. We house our community on Facebook. Just search, go in groups, the Top Discussion. Send us a request. I think we got a couple questions for entry, but as long as you ain't saying nothing crazy, you will get kicked out. Yeah, I mean, for updates on when we go live and clips and snippets, follow on Instagram, the Top Discussion, and you can stay tuned in every single Thursday. We go live at 8:30 p.m., breaking down top tier discussions and pushing our community forward. And I would definitely love for people to join in and tap in, because, like I said, one person can't move a mountain. It's going to take a community.
No doubt. Well, thanks a lot for coming out, man. We'll definitely keep in touch and see what's going on with you, all right?
Appreciate it, cuz. Thank you. Right. Keep doing you.
No problem. Take it easy. Hey, viewers, thank you so much for coming out today and checking out Come Together. I really had a great time talking to Daeron, a very special young man with a lot of energy, very just high energy and into what he's doing, very convicted about what he's doing, and really wants to make changes. I like that. I think a lot of people sometimes in my age group, we don't give the young people as much credit, and you have to realize sometimes things that they're doing differently, not doing the way we might think they should be done, is because the world is a little different. And so getting excited and getting into it, and I think they're learning as well, pulling in different skills that they can use and actually getting it done for themselves and their families. So big props to Daeron Myers, and I hope that him and the Top Discussion actually are very successful in everything that they do. We want to ask you to also like and subscribe to the channel, give us some feedback, let us know what you're thinking, tell your friends, and just spread it around. Let everybody know so they can come check out Come Together. All right, thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week on Come Together.